For the last 10 years, Ben Shapiro has pretended like I don't exist. Nick Fuentes, who? Even if you ask him directly about me, he won't utter my name. It's like my name itself is a curse. It's like the words Nick Fuentes are not able to be spoken aloud. That's how he is. He literally will not say my name. But today, it was a clip show. Today, it was like a full-fledged Fuentes Updates clip show. It was like America's Funniest Videos. One clip after the other. 40 minutes, no ads. That's how you know they mean business. When Ben Shapiro turns down the money from the advertisers, when Ben Shapiro doesn't do, let's say, 50 ad reads in a 50-minute video, that's how you know they mean business.
After waiting over a week from the Tucker and Nick interview, Ben Shapiro finally came around with his response to the situation. And it was incredibly weak, running almost 42 minutes, but literally all of it, besides the first and last few minutes, is just a massive clip compilation of previous things both Nick, Tucker, and even Candace have said. One could argue Ben Shapiro put together Nick's greatest hits. Ben's post sitting at just over 23 million views with 43,000 likes compared to Nick's response at 4 million views with over 122,000 likes makes it pretty obvious who X is cheering for. But here are the few minutes Ben Shapiro didn't hide behind a clip stitched together.
Hey folks, I want to do something different on today's show. We're going to cover one topic in depth. That topic is, I think, the most important thing happening in the country. It was a hot topic last week, but I wanted to take some time to really gather my thoughts and speak on it in coherent fashion, holistic fashion. That topic is the fragmentation of the political right. That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes. They call themselves the Groypers. They are white supremacists. They hate women, Jews, Hindus, many types of Christians, brown people of a wide variety of backgrounds, blacks, America's foreign policy, and America's Constitution. They admire Hitler and Stalin. And that splinter faction is now being facilitated and normalized within the mainstream Republican Party. The main agent in that normalization is Tucker Carlson, who is an intellectual coward, a dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend. And Tucker Carlson last week was aided, abetted, celebrated for normalizing Nazism within the Republican Party by the mainstay organization of the traditional right, the Heritage Foundation. Now, before we explain what's been happening, let's make one thing clear. This is not about free speech or cancellation. It was never about free speech or cancellation. Free speech has a definition: the right to speak free of governmental coercion. I believe in it, of course. I've always defended it. Criticism of bad speech is, in fact, just a form of free speech. Cancellation also has a definition: the banning of particular people, including people like Nick Fuentes, from platforms like X or Facebook. I believe that Nick Fuentes is odious and despicable, but I've never called for his cancellation. And in fact, I've called for his restoration to those services, despite the fact that I think he's odious and despicable. It is not cancellation to draw moral lines between viewpoints. In fact, we used to call that one of the key aspects of conservatism. It is not cancellation to refuse to signal boost Hitler's supporters like Nick Fuentes. It is not cancellation to criticize Tucker Carlson for rhetorically fluffing Nick Fuentes and other anti-American crackpots. It's not cancellation if you urge others to stop promoting those who rhetorically fluff Nazi apologists. Those are all elements of free speech. And anyone who says differently is lying to you, and lying for the most cynical reasons, to misdirect from their own defense of those Nazi apologists and their promoters. The issue here isn't that Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show last week. He has every right to do that, of course. The issue here is that Tucker Carlson decided to normalize and fluff Nick Fuentes, and that the Heritage Foundation then decided to robustly defend that performance. Those who criticize both Tucker and Heritage aren't canceling. They are quite properly drawing a moral line. So, for those who don't understand what's going on, let's begin with Nick Fuentes. So, why is all of this happening? Because, like the Democratic Party, the Republican Party is being eaten by its radicals. Many in the political class are too cowardly to stand up. Apparently, they're willing to play footsie with Groypers and hug Tucker Carlson out of fear of somehow losing support. They've been bamboozled by the lies of the X algorithm and the TikTok metrics. The left followed its radicals to electoral hell. Apparently, many on the right wish to do the same. Forget the morality then for just a moment. Let's be pragmatic. Here is the thing. Americans hate Nick Fuentes' philosophy. They think it's trash. Republicans, by the polling, think it's trash. Independents think it's trash. Democrats think it's trash. And here's the other thing. Americans hate Tucker Carlson's laundered anti-Americanism. Republicans think it's trash. Independents think it's trash. Democrats think it's trash. Americans are not pro-segregation, pro-rape, anti-woman, pro-child marriage, anti-black, anti-Jew, anti-Indian, anti-Latino, anti-Constitution, pro-Hitler nutjobs like Nick Fuentes. And Americans are not pro-Putin, pro-Iran, pro-China, pro-Venezuela, pro-Hamas, pro-Fuentes, pro-Tate idiots like Tucker Carlson. They hate this vile garbage. If Republicans decide to cower before the likes of neo-Nazis and their propagandizers, they deserve to lose. And they will lose. Neo-Nazis and their propagandizers are not Republicans. They are not America First. They are not MAGA. They sure as hell aren't conservative. These people aren't to my right. They are not attached in any way to the fundamental principles of conservatism. And these people have already declared themselves to be my enemies. I'd be a fool not to take them seriously. If they get their way, they will hollow out the Republican Party, lead it to electoral catastrophe, and empty it and the country of any semblance of decency in the process. My answer is no. No to the Groypers. No to their publicists like Tucker Carlson. No to those who champion them. No to demoralization. No to bigotry and anti-meritocratic horse shit. No to anti-Americanism. No. This is our country. This is our party. And this is our conservative movement. And I will not stand by while it is handed over to those who betray the most fundamental principles I have spent my entire life defending and advocating. That is a path to defeat and a path to moral oblivion. I reject it because if we lose the right, we will lose to the left. And either way, we'll lose the country.
And to think Ben took a week to come up with this response.
My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
Zherka absolutely nailing the energy behind Nick's response to this 40-minute smear video.
I don't apologize for one single thing I've ever said. And would you like to know why? Because we all see right through the tactics. This has always been the tactic from day one, which is this. Whenever somebody criticizes Israel, whenever somebody is identified as a powerful, influential opponent of their real agenda, which is what is happening in the Middle East, they go back to the playbook. And the playbook is character assassination. Do you think that Ben Shapiro really cares about even one of those clips? Do you think he cares about anything that I have ever said on the show? Does he watch my show? Does he understand the context of any of those things? Does he care? Does he think those are an honest representation of my deepest held views? Does he care if it's honest? The answer is no. Would you like to know why? I'll give you a perfect counterexample. Ben Shapiro is friends with Dave Rubin. For those that don't know anything about Dave Rubin is a homosexual. He's in a gay marriage, and Dave Rubin has adopted children through surrogacy. That means that him or his partner artificially inseminated some woman with the intention and the purpose of eventually that woman has the child, and the child is adopted by Dave and his partner. This is evil. This is among the most evil things, short of, let's say, murder, that a person can imagine. Why is that? And it's not because of a disgust reflex. It's not because it's because you are creating a child. You are bringing a life into the world with the intention of depriving that child of their mother. Think about that. Think about what your mother means to you. Your mother is the person that loves you more than anyone else in the world. Your mother would die for you, literally take a bullet for you. There is nobody on earth, and obviously there's exceptions to this. There's people that are mentally ill. There's women that have, weird things with their children. But the default, women, mothers in particular, they come the closest to unconditional love that you will ever experience from anyone on earth. And Dave Rubin and his partner are involved in the evil of surrogacy, which is to bring a life into the world, an innocent child that had no business in any of this, never consented to this, to take that child from their mother, rip them from the womb, rip them from their mother, and say, you're with two guys now. You're with two big, hairy, sweaty guys, not your mother. What does that do to a child? What does that do to a human being? Where would we be without our mothers? You want to talk about, in one of my clips, I jokingly said, women like rough sex. That's the gist of it. I said, women like when you beat the shit out of them. I'm joking and talking about how women like rough sex. That seems to be the trend these days. I don't think that's controversial. And so they say, Nick says he loves rape. Really? Dave Rubin, this is a crime. This is like a prosecutable crime. Brought a child into the world to take the child from their mother. And Shapiro's friends with this guy, interviews this guy, hangs out with him, drinks with him, smokes cigars with him. So now tell me again that it's about clips from my show. Tell me again that it's because I'm a sexist. Tell me again it's because I'm a reprehensible person. Ben Shapiro just got back from Israel where he met with Netanyahu. Netanyahu has been prime minister of Israel for 20 years. How many children has he been involved in the murder of? How many rapes from the IDF has Netanyahu been involved in? He is a war criminal, according to the ICC and the ICJ, and by the way, our own government. A murderer, a killer, a warmonger, a war criminal. So let's back this up, Shapiro. You got a problem with jokes on a show. You got a problem with edgelord jokes on a show by a guy, a talk show host. But you sit with people that take children from their mother. You sit with war criminals, bloodthirsty maniacs. He's on trial in 5 different cases in his own country. His own people hate him. That's okay? Tell me again it's about clips. Tell me again it's about being an edgelord or jokes. It's not. And it's never been about that. And he sits there on his show smug. Oh, here's him being here. He said this. He said, and it's a 10-second clip. Fuck you. And you know what that is? That is a coordinated smear campaign. People don't understand how this works. You've got people at Daily Wire that get paid a salary to watch my show. Not because they like it, not because they're interested in it. They get paid. Every time I say something off color, they take the timestamp, they download the clip, and they put that in the folder. What's the purpose of this? So that if somebody ever goes off the reservation, if somebody becomes an inconvenience, we're going to throw that out there and we're going to air that out. Oh, well, you might think this guy's against Israel, but look at this clip. It's dishonest. It's a lie. This is what they do. Accuse, point the finger, blame. You said this, you did that. Don't listen to him. This is how they operate. Said another way, this is what they do to the politicians. That's blackmail. You don't think that's what Jeffrey Epstein was involved in? You don't think that's what the Mossad and the Shin Bet are involved in? Blackmail, intimidation, bullying. If you don't go with what we say, we will destroy your reputation. We'll blackmail you, we'll intimidate you, we'll hurt people you love. We'll take your career, we'll take your money, we'll hurt your life. So you better go along with it. That's what they do. And the whole operation is built on dishonesty. So let's just stop with the games. We don't need to play games anymore. Everybody knows what this is about. And it's not about clips. You know what this is about? This is about Israel. Everybody knows that. Here's the proof, and I can prove it to you. People think I'm going to come out and say, well, yeah, in this clip I said this, and I'm sorry about that. It's a bad faith attack. It's a bad faith character assassination. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that's how they play. That's why everybody's walking on eggshells and got to be so politically correct because they're afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. I know what this is. You know what this is. Everyone knows how they operate at this point. This is about the fact that Ben Shapiro only cares about Israel. He's a single issue voter. If he thinks you're with Israel, he supports you. If he thinks you're against Israel, he doesn't support you. That's simple.
This clash of commentators being the clear and obvious result of two different ideologies fighting for command of the conservative movement. Israel first versus America first. And the natural conclusion to draw would be, shouldn't they debate each other? But everyone watching this video knows that's not going to happen.
Groiper Bono 07 sent $50. Hey Ben, keep Nick Fuentes' name out your mouth. You're irrelevant now. Love you Nick less than 3.
Well, and he should debate me. If he feels so strongly, then debate me. He won't. He knows he won't. You know he won't. I know he won't. Come and debate me then. I have 55,000 live viewers. How many live viewers do you get?
The writing is on the wall for the future of America, with Ben Shapiro and his acolytes quickly fading into irrelevancy as the banned man himself rises to the peak of mainstream politics. And I would have loved to include more of Ben's response, but there was simply nothing there to work with. Here's a clip. Here's a clip. I mean, he literally might as well just have stood there with his mouth open the entire time. I mean, it was very, very non-substantive. And I think as well, like this also roped in Candace Owens. This also roped in Tucker Carlson. This roped in Kevin Roberts as well, who I believe Kevin's kind of folded to the pressure a little bit. But Ben basically going after everybody. And it seems like he has the confidence that the support is there for his side. I just don't see it. I guess the only thing that I'm really seeing is the same kind of stupid bimbos like Deborah Leah and Emily Austin combined with the token black who is, what's his name? Brandon Tatum. Like, that's not the spine or core of America. Exactly that. Like, they are tokens. They don't represent in any way really what an American is, right? When I see Emily Austin, when I see Deborah Leah, when I see Ben Shapiro, when I see Brandon Tatum, I don't see an American. That's not what I see when I see those individuals. That's not to say they aren't American, that they're speaking from the core, that they are America first. I find that to be laughable at best. Now, what's funny that I didn't include, actually, Candace Owens that I noticed had commented on Ben's original post of this, where he's saying no to the Groypers. And Candace basically says, why are you roping me in on this? Like, now I have to respond. So I'm sure we'll be getting a Candace Owens response to some of the clips that was played of her too. And I'm just kind of sitting here like, elated really just to see the response online, you know, to see people, to see those likes, to see those ratios there. And obviously knowing that X is already biased right wing, at least from my perspective, and maybe I'm in an echo chamber, probably because of how much I bookmark and like of similar content, but it's overwhelmingly positive. And a couple of things that I also didn't add in there that you can find yourself, which is, you know, the New York Times is like continually, they are aura farming on Nick Fuentes. They put out articles left and right about the kid. One of the recent ones had Rod Dreher talking about how he believes it's like over 40% of DC staffers who are Republicans are Groypers. If there is this actual reality in which there are many who are in the movement but are rather silent, maybe a better way to say it is they're now open to these ideas, or maybe were otherwise shy and beforehand and are willing to move to those positions. Overall, it's a good thing. And I think that kind of can speak to the fact that maybe we can right this ship around faster than what we realize. If you can kind of get rid of the bad actors who are keeping it going in the wrong direction in the first place. I think the biggest thing I would say, two things really. One, I'm very kind of impressed with how underwhelming Ben's response was. I would expect that they would have put a lot more effort into it, maybe would have been a bit more robust. But the second being that everything that Nick said about Dave Rubin needs to be said and said very loudly. It is disgusting that Dave Rubin is partaking in such an act that does deprive a child from its mother, because it is seriously about time we get these fake conservatives out of the movement. It is about time we stop accepting homosexuality. Is it about time we stop accepting tokenism? We stop making these compromises that never needed to be made in the first place, because that's what it means to be America first. First and only. But that is where I will leave it. So let me know your thoughts if I missed anything, and like always, I will see you guys in the comments. Peace.
smash that like button.